How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today got some more stuff done on Kernel. The first thing I'm just doing now, thanks to Dan Stepanov, it's to unlock the achievement called like when you ruin a beautiful thing, and then it says in brackets "you monster." I never would have guessed it otherwise. There's an island here with a tree on it. It also had a toy truck, and you have to pull the tree over, like, which, yeah, how, like, I don't really know how they reasonably expected anyone to find this. You might do by accident if you're trying to reach for the tree and you knock the crane over, but yeah, as an actual hidden achievement that it doesn't tell you, it's a bit weird. I think he did say you have to knock 3 trees down on 3 islands, but it only made, like, I did that one and then it unlocked it. So yeah, thankfully. And the other issue is, I said yesterday I got all the toy locations, but I hadn't. But the weird thing is, it triggered the thing saying I have. So one of them is here, I'll show you better in a sec, but it's fallen off the island and it's in the water, which makes it really difficult to find. So there's 2 I missed. There's one here that's on that island, that's northwest of the logistics terminal. And then the one I just sort of showed you, it's over here in the top right, on the island, but again, it's rolled off into the water. I can't even see it, like the screen's... I could see it full screen, but it makes the screen smaller while I'm recording. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that because, like I say, I got what I thought was all of them, and it says I've got them all. Also, just randomly, I wanted to know if I was able to fill one of these in. I thought it might just block the sand or say you're unable to pour, but yeah, I went over there, started pouring it in, and it was going. So, for some reason, when I was saving this footage, I had about an hour and a half's worth of me paving over that and all the rest of it. Probably a little bit more than I needed. Like 90 minutes of me filling in a hole, and it wasn't even a porno. God dang. Just like most women I know, I like to smoke afterwards. Not sure, bit of an odd time to flavour meat, but whatever floats their boat. Yeah, eventually, like, I had to use destruction mode on some of the edges to kind of get it pretty damn smooth. There's a couple of lines in there, but honestly, again, 90 minutes worth of going back and forth. It just kept leaving a line. I was like, sod it. That's flat enough. I'll officially call that filled, done, and in the bag. Yeah, so, not that it really means anything, but again, I just thought they might just make the sand vanish into nothing. It's funny, actually, because it's let me fill that, but there's a mission to drive in all of them, whereas if you did that before you did drive in all of them, I don't know how I would trigger that now. I wouldn't be able to test now, but maybe I'll just be able to drive over it, and it'd trigger as I've gone in the middle of the geyser, even though it's filled with sand now. Yeah, so another mission I've got to do. It's over here, fixing a power line. There's loads of missions over here. It's a little bit scruffy how they've just kind of piled them all together at the last minute. There's 3 items that I scanned for yesterday, but there's also 2 other separate boxes in the same yard that, like, bits want to go to one place, and yeah, it's all a bit messy. But yeah, first up, bring 5 steel beams over to this downed power line. See, luckily I built a road here the other week. You can see the road goes through the middle of the downed power line. I just built around the edge. There's me flying pipe as well. That was from putting sand in a little yard I'll be in a minute. Kelly's back. So yeah, that's another mission popping up. Kelly doesn't pop up for a few of the missions. So the mission I did yesterday was scanning 3 items. The ones that have got the yellow circles around them. Again, those other 2 in the same yard are part of a different mission. These 3 I'm doing all need to be delivered over to the machine yard. Sorry, I'm clicking back and forth, but it was just to check all 3 want to go there. Yeah, so one of them is in this bottom yard, which, to be honest, like, it was right near the edge, so you don't even strictly need to go into the yard for this bit. It was easy to just drive over and grab this thing. But in theory, you do need to go into the yard for the other mission, but I'll sort of show... There's a lot of, like... Apologies if the editing's a bit scruffy in that tonight. I was messing around on a lot of missions, trying things, which is fine, but it's like, for the end result, I don't want, like, you know, 8 minutes of video just to show where I was messing around, so I kind of have to get very choppy with the editing to sort of keep it down, but I'll also kind of explain what I was doing and why I was doing it. Yeah, so grabbing this first box was pretty simple, and then, again, I've already paved all this, or sanded it or whatever. Nearly flopped off the edge. Couldn't even be bothered recovering my crane. I was like, nah, what could possibly go wrong? I'll leave it out. And then yeah, I rammed one of these red containers out of the way yesterday with a Kralin thing when I was scanning objects up here. It's kind of a semi-collapsed building. And to be fair, actually, the crane probably did bite me here. I think it would have helped a little bit having it packed so that my weight's not as high. Flopped over at this point. Thankfully, like, I put the crane legs out. It was just enough to keep me, like, from stalling. In the end, it was seesawing me around. I just put the crane over to the left like this, and it just added enough weight over to that side that stopped me tipping, reversed, and then I thought, right, I've got the Kralin right there anyway. I'd have to move that if I was going to drive up. So I may as well just use it with its winches to drag these things. So there's like a big control panel thing. A bit like one we had to deliver in Incommunicado, I think it was. Yeah, it took a bit of dragging. This Kralin, it's just not a very heavy vehicle, so it doesn't have much grip. Like, it runs out very easily. Yeah, overall, I do think it's best sending in a vehicle like this. You should have one nearby, because again, you have to scan the area to find these things. This one wasn't a bad choice in the end. It offers me a winch point, but it's like to the brick wall, not the thing I actually need. Thankfully, there's like a little ramp going up. Most of these barrels break. The blue ones just smash into nothing, so you don't get beached too badly. Camera angle goes a bit weird there, but yeah, there's like a little ramp going up here. Grab that thing. I thought, right, I'm going to have to jump off the science. But I was like, give it some turn while I land. Yes. Didn't have to do a three-pointer or anything. Just made the corner. There is hope yet for this little thing. We partly loaf trained. Yeah, so they're the three items. The little thing kind of fits under the sideboard. Put the big control panel on the back or on the top behind the big box thing I've got to deliver. And get out of there. Yeah, like I say, for this one I'm heading over to the machine yard. And yeah, all along here is where I sanded the other day. It's where one of the pipes flew up in the air. That's where the flying pipe came from. And as well, just for what it's worth, the yard to the left of me is also, like, for the next mission, you've got to grab 3 valves. One of them is in that yard, buried under some stuff. The other 2 are in that yard that I scanned one of these objects. Again, it's all a bit messy, really. Yeah, I thought I'll leave this in, but again, it was too long. That's what she said. So I sped it up a bit. Here's the road it made me build yesterday. Cut through there, swerve back off, connect to the sort of main road. Filled both of these gaps the other day. And then I got to about now and I was like, oh yeah, I've not even tracked the objective. I always forget for some reason. But yeah, going basically where your harbour base is. I was gonna think like, oh, I could climb up the bank again, but I was like, nah, just get it in the bag the long way. Don't mess it up now. Transport the retrieved thermal pumps to the machine yard. You can see, no Kelly for this one. Which normally you think should pop up, especially being among the last missions. Yeah, these are like back to the same yards. So there's one valve that needs to be delivered there. And 2 of them are over there. I'll go back a bit better in a second. And 2 of the valves are in that yard. And one of them is in that other one that you can just see with the yellow circle around it. That one. Yeah, seems to be buried under some cars. And then the other 2 valves need to be delivered over here. And this yard, it's like there's gates here, and this is where I started messing around. This Kralin thing, just one completely couldn't push the pipe, which is fair enough, but it got stuck on like a bit of corrugated iron or something stupid. So I brought a dozer, pushed one pipe out of the way, pushed the Kralin thing out of the way. Then this thing started getting stuck because it can't move sideways, and it's just caught on a like. If the scrap was a bit more substantial, I'd probably understand more, but it's practically nothing. And that was getting a bit annoying, so in the end I thought, right, I'll just bring the crane and I'll lift the pipe out of the way. But just for science, I had to ram into it and nearly see if I could jump the gate. And then I thought, right, I'll lift the pipe while it's under me, a bit like, say, the like cartoons Bugs Bunny would like pick himself up by his own ears. Yeah, give it a go. It kind of, the game wasn't too keen on it. I mean, it got the pipe out of the way, but it kind of flipped my crane. Sent the dozer, and see the dozer gets stuck on practically nothing, but it can shove a tipped over crane by itself. And then to get these gates open, this is probably the difficult way of doing it, but I reversed into it because for whatever reason, if you drive forwards into it, it kind of bounces open, but 1, your vehicle doesn't get into reverse in time, and 2, I don't know if it's just the bucket on the front of this it just kind of slams the gate back shut. But reversing into it, I was able to bump it open. And for this one, kind of, yeah, got that on an angle, swung it around, and we're in. And then you can see, like, this big white pipe kind of makes it obvious that you're just going to kind of push it into the gap, so it sort of sits flush and you can drive over. But the point being, really, this is why, like, with all the testing around and that, I was just doing it, I already knew there was another option. Like, there's my road just over there where I fixed that power line. The fence even falls down. I was even thinking before that you could drive a crane up to the outside and just reach, like a big crane, and reach over. So this is kind of what I was demonstrating now. I jumped over to the left, just I thought I'd be a better chance of not beaching the nose. The crane's not bad at climbing, as long as you can get the nose over stuff. The fact that it's just 8 tyres underneath that are all powered, and they're not terribly ungrippy either, so they work pretty well. But yeah, the fact that this fence all falls down as well, like, just makes this mission even easier. There's no point really in even having to move all those pipes and open the gates and all the rest of it. And then now, just kind of out of principle and annoyance, I suppose, it's not like I get annoyed like that, it just sort of makes you roll your eyes. Like, this game, I can't lift the cargo any higher, so it drags along the floor. And if I was to carry both of these and drive forwards, even though the crane gets beached on loads of stuff with its nose, the pipe would know, or the valve would go under the front and I'd drive over it and all the rest of it. So, yeah, just kind of like, fine game, I'll just reverse out of there and drag it behind me. Yeah, the third valve is in this yard, which, again, you could easily reach over. It even has like a little path leading around the side. I think it was just more for, you know, like, it's a little bit more done than if I did just drive around. Like, now the gates are open, I've shoved the cargo out of the way-ish. I'd certainly recommend, regardless of what you do, just don't use these blue cranes, because they're bloody crap. The controls, like, whoever made them, just made them so overly, ridiculously complicated. It was already bad before the down button on my D-pad stopped working. It's even worse now. Yeah, and then I was going to drive the crane round here, drop the valve off there, and then reach over with a crane I've got up there from doing the geyser thing, fixing pipes the other day. But what I wanted to test was, like, it's specifically saying each valve needs to go to a certain location. And it's saying that one on the road that I've already dropped is the one I need to deliver up here. So I took a different one. All I wanted to check was that it wouldn't, like, cock block you and sort of, you take one valve, even though they're 3 identical valves, they may have programmed it where it's like, no, you have to take the specific valve to the specific location we've already listed. Drop that up there. Again, I could just reach over, but I had more gates, and I quite like, to be honest, kind of winging it without having a vehicle that I can just, you can attach a winch to the gates and pull them open. Yeah, drive into them, bounce back, and that gets them open a bit, propped one open, and then I sort of got a bit lucky as I drove through it, caught on the side of my vehicle and pinged open. Almost didn't crunch that fence, and then fired me crane legs out. And that was it done. Yeah, so it did take that valve, so it even though it sort of tells you each valve goes to a specific place, it doesn't really matter, you can mix and match. And then yeah, grab the last 2, drive, it's probably one of the only roads I've not paved. I actually paved some of it after this, thinking about it. Yeah, this weird section of dug up goodness. Drop one of them in. I think you definitely need a large crane for this bit. You could probably get away with it, I don't know actually, I was going to say maybe get away with a small crane for that first valve if you drove around the long way up to the geyser station thing. Along here though, you can see these little planks are all set out to kind of drive along. There possibly is another way here. I thought this was pretty cool though, and again this crane's pretty nice, turning circle, because I believe, yeah, like the front 2 axles steer and the other 2 steer the opposite way. Makes for pretty nice turning circles for the size of the crane and all the rest of it. I knew I was pushing my luck there. I was going to see if I could crash and handbrake at the same time, if the valve would fall off the front and kind of roll into place. Yeah, activate the backup pipelines. Kelly's back.
Rerouting the flow. The main pipeline in the station itself can be safely fixed now. Too bad the backup pipeline is also leaky. Who could have guessed, right? Could you go and plug the leaks?
I suppose. Yeah, it's another one in the bag. Didn't go with that thumbnail in the end. So, another mission is delivering 3 light yellow generator things from this yard down here to the logistics terminal. I already happen to have a mule here from delivering that silver cargo box thing behind me. It was like a generator thing we had to drop off here, and I'd just left the mule here since then. And I figured, I've mostly been using that Voron since I've added it, or pretty much have, as far as this sort of vehicle goes. I figured, yeah, one last go in the mule. It's not a good start when I hit a bloody gate on the way out. Yeah, one last ride in the mule. 3 of these yellow things, generators or whatever. See, this is where, like, the mule, I clip that rock, completely dies, has to go through all its gears again. I've noticed, though, the Voron seems to be heading that way. I felt like the first day or two it was seemed quicker by comparison, but there's a few times tonight where it seems to start doing the gear thing. And then, yeah, again, apologies, forgot to track the mission until the last minute. I can go the long way round, but I already noticed the other week there was like gates here, but they're blocked by loads of pipes, and to be honest, for the most part I was approaching this logistical terminal from the north, so it just made sense to use the other route. But again, since I'm nearly finished the game, I figured I may as well try and knock this open. Like, yep, it'll only take several hundred rams and we'll be through. Be easy. It took a little while. Was it now? When I was reversing for a split second, I generally, my heart went for a second when that AI turned, like, I think for a split second I kind of thought of it like I was reversing into traffic, like it was actually my fault. He was just driving along. And then, yeah, I managed to get him to kind of follow me. I was like, yes, give me a boost. Some more of them pipes moving. He sort of does, but then he swerves off. It did technically move a pipe a little bit. I saw it. Got it on video. Yeah, and then he gave up, so I had to kill him. These things happen. But we're getting most of the way there, and then, once I got far enough, kind of managed to wedge the mule between a pipe and the gate. And then now, it's like, oh, what a genius manoeuvre. We'll fire out the little crane legs. Look, even the way they bend, looks like someone flexing their arms. Should have little biceps on the crane legs. Yeah, funnily enough, by chance, I was watching a video earlier on YouTube of like the old school guys back in like the 1800s, cracking like a 400-ton boulder in half with metal pegs and a sledgehammer. Yeah, that was the inspiration I needed. I was like, well, if they can, yeah, crack a 400-ton boulder in half with that, I should be able to wedge these pipes out of the way with the help of the crane legs. And then typical, there's a forklift in the way, took a bit of extra ramming. What we got there? Talk about the most awkward, longest way possible, just to save me driving around. I was hoping for some reason as I drove through here it would just take them. When you hit walls though, it does stack the cargo quite nicely in the sideboards. Yeah, speed run that with a bit of editing. And then I popped up an achievement, extra mile, that's every side objective. And again, Kelly doesn't turn up, and I'll admit, when she does, I usually either ignore her, talk over her, or take the piss out of something she said. But it's the last side mission in the entire game, and she doesn't even appear for that one. They seem to have slacked at the end as far as adding those little bits in. And then, yeah, another mission. Thankfully, I believe it's the last pipes I've got to fix. Although, I probably shouldn't say that because I've not seen the last couple of missions. 2 pipes from this central distribution station. One there and one there. So just near where the 6 geyser things are. I was looking at, like, a large crane would be easier, but obviously, one, I'm going to have to bring them there. So I started at my harbour base. Yeah, if you jump off there at an angle, you kind of land on one wheel, and it doesn't dig in your bumper, and you can sort of keep your momentum a little bit. So when I got here, I was thinking like maybe I'll be able to reach underneath and all the rest of it, but it looks sort of like you can drive up here. More than anywhere else, kind of. And at this point, it was sort of getting there, but I started leaning over quite a lot. Had my crane legs just in case I get too tippy. I was hoping it'd kind of push a bit of weight over to the left rear axles. It's them particularly that need some weight, but it's not quite going on. So, fired my crane legs out, but I put my crane over to the left just to force weight over to the left of my vehicle. Again, particularly the rears, and then they got enough grip on that rock to climb their way out of here. See, now it's doing the gears where it's like stops midway up the hill. Like, just stick to first gear if I'm going that slow. And then now, look, when I pressed crane function, I pressed L1, it cock-blocked me deploying my anchors. And it genuinely did. I was like, what a joke. You can even see it on the screen. Like, I pressed L1 multiple times before it started tipping. So I just quit and reloaded, started back in the bloody harbour base. It wouldn't even let me strap the cargo this time, but I jumped off the hill and they stayed in. Yeah, all the way back to here. I just figured I'd leave this bit of footage in, because I remembered. I was like, yeah, now I'll strap them. Yeah, just to sort of show climbing up here wasn't a complete fluke. I sort of knew it wasn't. Using the crane, I used to do it a lot on SnowRunner, like, you just use it for the weight. It shifts your weight, you know, preferably left and right is usually the best. But it can do front and rear as well, in fact. I'll show you a good example coming up. Yeah, shifting the weight though with the crane over to the left, get enough grip on the left rear axle. See again though with the gears. And then now, so I stopped early because it was like, no doubt the game will try and troll me and not put the handbrake on. But I didn't have enough reach, which partly is annoying because if you could retract the crane ropes more, you could get nearer because you don't have to waste so much with the height difference. And then yeah, you can see again if you look back, I put the handbrake on way before I got to the edge of the hill. The game just being a dick, made me roll off again. Switched the crane, got the pipe fixed, but now I'm stuck on the edge of the cliff. So use the crane and the pipe I've still got left, dangle it over the back. It was looking good once the front lifted a bit when I sort of got that pipe hanging over the back. And thankfully, yeah, that did work. Put enough weight over the rear of my vehicle so it sort of helped the front climb up without too much weight it's got to pull back up over the hill. It saw my gap I'm going for. Not even wasting my time putting the pipe back in the sideboard. We'll leave it there. Try and fly it like a kite. Reminds me of some good old SnowRunner days. And then yeah, a little bit further down the road there is a little side road going off, but once you get here it's kind of like, didn't seem like the best way. These pipes are more raised up, so I could just go under them anyway. And yeah, cut along the countryside a little bit. Get to here. I think I normally, if I can, end up ramming the pipe, just because it knocks it out of the way. Normally dropping this pipe on does, but yeah, just if it's possible, why not? And then I figured I'll try and drop it between the two pipes and switch my winch point to the broken one before it lands and then probably tries to cock block the bloody winch points. Yeah, fix the breaches along the backup pipeline. Done. And you see again, Kelly doesn't appear, and it's like, these are the last missions in the entire game. I reckon they cheaped out, probably hired her as like a voice actor for a day, but they had 1.1 days worth of voice acting to do. So they just kind of got a bit lazy and slack at the end. Yeah, that's it for today though, really. There's my AI routes fighting with each other. Oh yeah, and then I've been meaning to. I put a bridge here and then it made me build a road and all the rest of it. I was always curious because when you finish an AI road, it kind of just fills it in the way it, as if it originally intended to have it done. It did build a tarmac road under there, which I didn't officially tarmac it all, but yeah, it just built its own. Yeah, 92%. I think tomorrow, to be honest, might be the last video as far as doing these missions go. Now I've got 43 toys. I don't know what's going on, to be honest, because I thought there was about 36. Maybe it duplicated some when my internet wasn't connected yesterday when I delivered them. But God knows, I've certainly got them all now. It said I had at 41. So I might do a separate video and just show you where the locations are. But that's about it for today, though. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it helps. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf because he's goddamn professional, and I'll be back soon.